Good morning to everybody.
Good morning.
Glad to see everybody out in the crowd. Good to see you guys, Mac. Good to see you guys here on the court. At this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Call the roll, please.
Master Combs.
Here.
Master Barger.
Here.
Master Tudor.
Here.
Master Botkin.
Here.
Judge Taylor.
Here. At this time, I'd like to invite Brother Jim Riggs from Big Hill Avenue Christian Church to come up and lead us in a word of prayer, please.
Let's bow in prayer. Father God, we thank you for another beautiful day of life that you've given us, realizing, Father, that everything that we have is a gift from you. Father, I pray your blessing on this meeting this morning and on its agenda. Lord, you tell us in Scripture that we're to love one another. And I thank you, Father, for the men here that have given their time and their efforts and passions to serve you, because, Lord, you can't serve unless you love. So, Father, I pray your blessing on this meeting. Pray, Lord, that we use our talents and our abilities to our fullest, really realizing full well that, Lord, we will stand before you someday and be accountable for our actions. You tell us that we're held to a higher standard because we are in positions of authority. So, Lord, just be with us, guide us. We ask for your wisdom, discernment, and direction. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. At this time, if everybody rise, so we say the pledge. Sheriff, please.
Everybody face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Sheriff. This time, I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes last meeting.
So move.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Tudor.
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Treasury report will be at the next meeting. First order of business is I'd like to ask the court's permission to amend the agenda with a hire for the solid waste department. Sort of come in late. So I need a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Master Tudor.
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. At this time, Kenny, you want to talk about the budget amendment?
Yes, sir. Every year we've got to amend the general term order, or produce a new general term order, because of my salary changes after we make the budget. We're not allowed to set that any higher, just in case. We have to come back to the most efficient way we can do this. And we've also made moved some money around other spots, and it's actually gone, this amount's gone down on the general term order from what it was back in January.
To reflect the numbers that's
Yep.
here.
Yep.
On a motion?
Please.
Yes, sir.
Second.
Any discussion?
And that is, we'll catch up on the budget too. We are in great shape this year on the budget. I know last month we turned over 25%, $41,000, and we're still on pace to be about $80,000 to $90,000 in excess this year. So kind of like what we were the last 4 years.
Yep. Good. Thanks, Kenny. Call the roll, please.
Master Tudor.
Yes.
Master Botkin.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Master Barger.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next is first reading of ordinance 1509. This is a land use change for Kentucky Auto Parts, 642 Mount Vernon Road, Berea, from UC1 Urban Corridor Residential to UC5A Urban Corridor Industrial for 1.16 acres. And I'll need a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
This, did this come to us from the planning and zoning?
Yes.
They approved this, right?
Yes.
Do we know if that area down there, if they have to have the restrictive fences for the view from the road?
There is a requirement for that.
Bert, if you don't care, come up to the podium, please.
Because of Savage Yard, Tom,
Yes.
is what you're talking about.
Yes.
So if they decide to use that
as an expansion of their salvage yard, which they've not indicated to me that that's their plan, but they would have to, there's a screening requirement for that. At this time, they're just asking for the zone change.
And Bert, they'll have to submit a development plan if they wish to do something.
Yeah, they're actually going to probably have to go before the Board of Adjustments for a conditional use permit to do that.
And they're aware that the changes have to be made if they,
Yes.
so we used to, yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bert. Any other discussion? Call the roll, please.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. This next thing on the agenda is really just an announcement. It's an executive order for the special election. And according to the requirements set forth in KRS 242, I have set Tuesday, September the 29th, 2015, as the date of the election for the wet-dry local option election for the city of Berea. So these are all precincts that are in the city of Berea, and it will be held at Berea Community School as gymnasium. Kenny, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, the election's going to be just like a normal election day. It's on a Tuesday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., and we will be voting at everybody that lives, that's registered to vote in the city limits of Berea are able to vote in this, and it will be all at the Berea Community Schools. There's no where you used to go vote, and when we go back to the general in the fall for the governor's race, we'll go back to our normal precincts. We thought that would eliminate a lot of confusion.
School closed that day, Kenny, do you know?
No. But we're making plans right now to work around that. There's nowhere in Berea to have this election that's not a school or a church. And the board thought it best not to use churches in a wet-dry vote. So that's one of the problems. I'll use the bully pulpit just a little bit here. That's one of the problems with these wet dries. There's no controlling the timing of them. There's no way we could schedule. The schools do their calendars a year ahead, so there's no way we could schedule with the school to have a wet dry. The other problem is the cost. This is going to cost this county about $20,000 to put this election on, and that's if we're scrimping and starting to cut it down by hundreds of dollars now versus thousands. These elections need to be on a normal election day. We have every, all 3 years, but one out of the 4-year cycle, we have elections. There's no reason we can't hold these on a primary or a general. So if anybody out there watching on TV, if you run into one of your representatives or your senator, mention that to them, that this is costing this county a lot of money, and there's no controlling it. We could have 10 in 1 year.
Yeah.
There's no controlling it.
I wonder, Clerk Barger, if your association has taken a stance from the legislative standpoint to try to propose some legislation?
Yes, there's at least 2 bills that come up every year. One is to have it on the normal election day, and the other bill is to have it on the normal election day or have the interested party pay for the election. Those 2 bills have come up every year I've been in office.
Does it ever come out of committee?
It comes out of committee, and it usually dies in the House floor.
If you get information on that, when it does come, help us watch for it, we'll
Yep, I'll pass it around.
maybe keep an eye open for it.
Sure.
Will there be a voting machine for every precinct?
There will be, that's one of the ways we've been able to save. We've got a few precincts that have very few voters because of the lines, where the lines are drawn. We have combined those precincts into one machine, so that saves us $125 a machine on programming. But yes, there'll be a designated spot for each precinct to vote in.
Is that gonna be in the gym?
It'll be in a gym, yep.
Well, there's a lot of traffic there.
Well, we've got 10,250 registered voters with about 15% turnout, so that's not that many people coming, but we've got to have 2 plans, one rainy day plan and one dry day. We could park different places if it's dry. We've got a whole lot of work to do in the next couple months to get ready for this.
Did the Folk Center not look like a viable option?
The Folk Center, we could have voted there. They had something that started at 6 o'clock that night. They were willing to work with us, but it's not big enough to hold all of it, and then we're piecemealing it. So if we're going to use Berea Community, we might as well use Berea. We would be using Berea Community anyway, because Madison, Southern, and Silver Creek are the other 2 schools. Silver Creek's under construction. Half their parking lot's gone. Madison Southern, the parking is non-existent, and there's no way to not mix voters and students. That's what's good about the Berea community. We'll be voting at Conkin Gym, and it's isolated from the school, so there'll be no mix of students and voters.
Good.
It was really the only option.
Pretty much, yes. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, we've looked on Berea College's campus. We've looked everywhere down there we could think of, and that's about it. We're making the best of it.
Thanks, Kenny.
Sure.
Next is opening the bids on the CSEP calendars. Mark?
Judge, I've had a chance to look at the bids here after court started this morning. There are 2 bids. And do we know what the timeframe was in receiving the bids?
Both of the bids were received before the deadline.
Because there's one note from Thoroughbred that I don't quite understand. It says it was dropped off somewhere, held in somebody's possession, and then taken somewhere else.
They dropped that off at 911 after hours that we closed off, but it was done the Friday before the Monday deadline, or the Thursday.
It was always some county agency that had this.
It was a county agency.
I think it's fine, but I
Yes.
just didn't exactly understand the note. So there are 2 bids, one from Thoroughbred Printing, and the other is from Post Printing. They were properly sealed and received in the appropriate timeframe, so we'll turn those over to the clerk. Michael, you can then review them and come back with your recommendation
Correct.
at a later meeting.
Yes.
Good.
Michael, just stay there for a minute, just in case anybody has any questions. Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome.
Next is to award the bids for CSEP audio video. This was a project that we had rebid. So now I'll need a motion and a second to approve the bid. Michael, if you would like to talk to us a little bit about this bid. This
Sure.
is,
This
it's my
would be-
understanding, this is for all the TVs.
It's all for all the
TV
monitors,
wall.
all the electronics and the EOC, fully funded by CSEP. It's part of the EOC construction project. We received 4 bids on that. You should have in your Dropbox the spreadsheet. We met with our consultants, Mission Critical. Also, several members of the CSEP staff went through those bids, and we would like to award the bid to Trinity Video Communications. They had the lowest and best bid. And the bid amount is $288,839, and that is well below the budget projected of $309,000 for that project.
Okay, I need a motion and a second.
Judge, I move we accept the bid that's been offered here for the CSEP upgrade visual.
Okay, second.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Guys, we withdrew the copier bids. We've got them, but we've just withdrawn it from the agenda. We'll talk about that at the next meeting. We weren't quite ready for it. Next is to award the bid on the audio-visual for the courtroom here. Obviously, all of y'all, we've been discussing this for some time. And, you know, we've got a ghost standing behind the door over here that keeps pushing the button to keep it playing. And so we definitely need to upgrade the cameras and the technology that we have. Chris, would you like to come up and just explain to the court what we're doing?
We only received 1 bid from Creative Image Technologies. They did come to the required pre-bid meeting, so they were really the only ones eligible to bid. Kelly Harmon is the representative of that company. He lives in Madison County. He has done a lot of the work on the existing system with us. He does a lot of work at the school board. He's done some stuff with CSEP. Unfortunately, didn't win the latest bid, but he is a local guy. What we're going to do is replace all of these cameras that hang from the ceiling and put them down at an appropriate level where we're not looking at everybody's bald spots, right? Put them down a little lower. Me too. And we're going to get rid of that cabinet completely. Standing back there trying to keep that thing running has just become a nightmare. Every week we have to push buttons and it breaks, and people text us and say, we can't hear you, can't see it, what happened to it. It really makes us look foolish. So we're going to take all that equipment and move it into our server room. It'll be completely rewired with new cameras that have a much better quality. We'll be using the existing microphones that you see, but the back-end equipment will be upgraded to give us better quality. And we're also going to include somehow some kind of choir mic or something for the crowd so we can pick up if somebody does speak into the crowd, because right now we've been having a lot of comments back and forth between the bench and maybe the department head. People can't hear what they're saying. So we're going to apply some kind of choir mic there. The bid came in at about $27,761. There was $29,000 allotted in this year's budget for this project, so it came in under. I suspect we'll probably spend all $29,000 by the time we're done. There'll be things that pop up that we just didn't expect. But we're going to take the existing projector and screen and move it to the back wall so the court can see it, so you don't get a crank in the neck. And then we're also purchasing a new screen, a new projector to go up front so the crowd can see it. So that'll be a nice addition there as well. And hopefully, if Reagan can find the money, we'll be able to redo the crowd seating and those kinds of things, and that all plays into it. So we're excited to get this part done. Hopefully we'll be done sometime in September. We have to just kind of wait on their availability. So we'll go ahead and get this underway with your approval.
Yep. And you know, we've been discussing this ever since we've came into office about the need for this. And you know, I think the original estimate of the Cadillac version was somewhere in the mid-40s.
42,000.
40s, and so we cut it back just not to. But maybe next year we can upgrade, you know, and go into lapel mics. A lot of times we get complaints from people that are watching, you know, if we're leaning back, they can't hear us very well. And you'd really be surprised how many people actually do watch this. I mean, it is. I get texts all the time. Great meeting today. We need to we need to service that group of people that aren't coming here and that are interested and engaged in our community and the decisions that we're making. So,
Chris, but just having the one bid, do you think that's a fair price bid?
Yeah, I checked all the equipment through various vendors just to see what they cost. The equipment itself is all right in line with where it should be. The labor, I really don't have any idea, but he is a local guy. He always says to me, it's my tax dollars I'm spending anyway, so I feel like he's being, you know, fair with the bid. And I think the last time we did something in this courtroom was right when I first started, about 9 years ago, and we spent about $25,000. So it's a fair estimate. We're actually doing more work this time than we did last time. And part of it is, and this was one of Reagan's thing, is the newest piece of equipment will be a content generator, which is what creates those slideshows that you see. Right now, that's really a manual process by my department. We oftentimes forget to remove those slides. So this new system will allow us to create those on a schedule. So if we put it up to show a 2-week period, it'll come down the day it's over. It won't rely on somebody. Ryan talks to his iPhone and tells him to remind him to remove it. And sometimes we just forget. So that's going to be a great asset. We don't have dated slides up there showing information that's incorrect. So we're excited about that as well.
how long can you go ahead and put that information in there?
You know, I don't know that answer, but I'm assume it doesn't have a limit.
Okay.
And most people are ahead of us about a month. When they submit those things online, it's usually a month ahead of time. And our standard procedure is 2 weeks unless there's a varying circumstance for some reason that it needs to be posted longer. But anything that's on a rotating date is about 2 weeks in advance. So we won't have much trouble keeping that stuff up to date and off of there
Good deal.
in a timely manner.
So it's not just cameras in here, it's on the cable channel also? Okay.
Yeah, it's what actually feeds out into the system, yeah.
Okay.
I make a motion, we accept this bid.
Second.
Any more discussion? Call the roll, please.
Master Berger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next is opening of a bid for the road department. This is a project that we're getting funded through the NRCS. It's through the United States Department of Agriculture. This is the Bill Eads project. There's some shoring and stuff that needs to be done down on Bill Eads for the creek. And so I would like to take action today on this bid. It's a little bit of an emergency. I know we normally don't take action on the bids that we open in court, but this is a special situation that we need to go ahead and do.
Judge, I've opened the bid. It was sealed and received July 31st, which I believe was in the appropriate time frame. I'll submit that to the court. I'm sure you want to look at it.
Please.
Prior to making any decision on it.
Thank you. With the calculations that we got back from Sam Miller at NRCS, they've actually already estimated this project out. And it is a 75-25?
Yes.
Yep. So I think their total amount was 140,000 is what they'd estimated. And with the cost breakdown from the road department on what work of this that we'll do ourselves, plus this amount here of 68,629 from Hinkle Environmental, I would ask the court's recommendation to approve this.
Judge, this goes back to the flood that we had in early April, and I went and met with Sam Miller, and he's been working closely with us with a program out of Frankfurt called EWP, which is Emergency Water Protection Act, and kind of been moving their feet awful slow on this project. It was something that, in an emergency situation, we wanted to go ahead and hurry up with it, and here we are 4 or 5 months down the road and just getting everything approved. So I move that we accept this bid and go ahead and get this project taken care of.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion?
Needs done.
Call the roll, please.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger? Yes. Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next, guys, is a hire to personnel with road department. It's the fleet management mechanic. It is a recommendation to hire Ricky Foster at $15.50 per hour. Mr. Foster is currently employed by the City of Richmond and works full-time at the city garage. He has over 20 years of automotive repair experience and comes equipped with his own tools and diagnostic equipment. You know, we've been working, and it's slowly coming into play, this fleet program, where we're actually servicing our government vehicles. You know, it could be the sheriff's. I know it's been a big help on the sheriff, the jail's vehicles, the coroner's vehicles, our road department vehicles, planning and zoning. I mean, all of our county vehicles, they've been doing all of our own mechanics. And not only that, it's preventive maintenance as well. We're not a lot of times waiting to service it once something breaks. You know, we're going ahead and keeping things up to date. So I need a motion and a second to approve this hire.
So move.
Probationary period on that.
I'm sorry.
Probationary period on that.
Yeah, I think everything's pretty much a 6 months
Okay.
probation period.
Second.
Any discussion, guys? Okay. Call the roll, please.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Guys, this next thing is a correction from last meeting. The information that I'd had on staying in compliance with the IRS regulations on a salaried position for the Battlefield Golf Course. Clay Kidd, I had read that he was being bumped to $26,300, and that was really a typo. It was supposed to be $23,660. So just clarification on what his rate of pay is. I would like the court to vote on this today. So I need a motion and a second to change that.
Make a motion that we approve the correction.
Second.
Any discussion?
That, on this, Judge, we need to go back, we'll just have to amend the last month's meetings. We have to reflect that in the meetings.
I think these minutes will trump last month's.
Because the minutes last time were technically correct, the information.
That's right.
There, it was wrong. So this amendment will satisfy any record keeping.
It's Chris Kidd, James Christopher, not
Okay, thank you. Correction again. Oh, I'm sorry. But the last meeting, we said Clay Kidd because not only was the amount wrong, the name was wrong.
Okay.
So Clay probably thought that.
So Chris Kidd is the new correction. All right, so his name is correct, and the amount is $23,660. Does everybody understand?
Clay's been doing double duty out there.
So, Roger, you made a motion, is that correct?
Made a motion.
Do we have a second?
Larry second.
All right. Call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next is a personnel, it's a hire at the Battlefield Golf Course. Recommendations to hire Drew Freeman as the rehire at the pro shop attendant for $7.25 an hour. His start date will be Wednesday, August the 12th, 2015. This is replacing about 3 or 4 seasonal guys that worked this summer. This will be a full-time position. I need a motion and a second for this hire.
Make a motion, Judge, that we hire Drew Freeman at rate of $7.25 an hour.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the roll, please.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Guys, this is another hire that I would like to have made in the solid waste. Everybody is familiar with Mr. Robert Murphy. Robert has retired, but is willing to come back to help us out in times of need for drivers with solid waste. You know, we just had one of our solid waste drivers that has moved on, excuse me, to the City of Richmond Fire Department, and Robert's willing to come in part-time. He is a CDL driver to just help us out to fill until we actually fill that position full-time. So at this time, I'd like a motion and a second.
I make that motion. I'd like to thank Robert for his help, because he's always been a good employee.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? I'm sorry, I am gonna have a little discussion. That'll be at $13 an hour, which is the rate of what we pay.
And he's on call whenever we need him, basically.
I believe it's part-time, it's 20 hours, I believe it'll be 20 hours a week. That's what it'll work. Yep. Call the roll, please.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Botkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. This time, I'd like to invite our sheriff up to give us a little update.
Said a little update then.
Little. We have a few things to discuss this morning. First of all, I want to thank the court for working with us on a daily basis, and magistrates and everything showing interest in coming over and seeing what we do hands-on. If the court can remember, back in April, I gave the first 3 months, January, February, March, an update on our drug and drug abuse issues and concerns here in Madison County. And when I gave that report, I told you that we had 76 overdoses that was reported in those 3 months, and that we also had 9 confirmed deaths from overdoses. Now, those are some pretty staggering figures. Today, I don't have any real good news again. The months of April, May, and June, we had 74 overdoses that were reported and 5 overdose deaths here in Madison County. This information that I've been able to obtain comes from the Director Carlos Coyle of the EMS, and it also comes from Coroner Jimmy Cornelison from their reports and their stats. Their first responders reports where the paramedics actually go out hands-on. Of course, toxicology and autopsies come back and confirm some of the things that we have to know to make sure these reports are accurate. And due to the Privacy Act, there are some things that may happen here in Madison County that go unreported. You know, if it goes to a private physician or a medical establishment that they don't allow us to know what's taking place, either through the patient's private records or their private physician. Like I said, the stats that I've reported on here today, I feel are fair and assess what we have going on here in Madison County about our drug problem. You know, across our state, across this nation, we have a drug epidemic, and it's not a pleasant thing to have to say, but our life that we once knew is completely changed. And it's going to take a while with everybody working together to try to get this thing going the way we want it to go. Opium abuse, including prescription pain medications and heroin, have skyrocketed across our nation in the last few years. The main drugs that we deal with on a daily basis is methamphetamine, prescription drugs, mainly opiate-type drugs, as well as heroin. These drugs, as we know, are very extremely addictive, and you know, it changes a lot of people's lives when they first start experimenting with them, and then they can't get away from them. So it changes everybody's life, everybody sitting in this room as well. There are many other drugs that are unfortunately have become popular to our teenagers and our younger adults, and a lot of these drugs you'll see around bars, nightclubs, and large cities, and unfortunately here as well. But they're synthetic type drugs, chemical-based drugs, chemical-based synthetic marijuanas, and there is a drug that has started out being popular. It's not as popular today, even around the drug addiction problems that they have, because it's a very scary drug. And this drug is brought in through Russia, and its nickname is Crocodile. Now, if battling these drugs that I've just mentioned to you, what we do on a daily basis, there's another one that's a high-powered time-release opiate capsule pill that's out. It was manufactured through the pharmaceutical companies for extreme pain. And this drug is now beginning to find its way out on the streets. And when it was first made by the pharmaceutical companies, they were in hopes that a person that was an addict could not use this drug other than orally, because of how powerful this drug was. But it's made where it can't be crushed, so when it's crushed, it can be either injected or it can be smoked, or through the nose. But it's an oral drug that has to be taken. It's found its ways in a lot of our large cities and even here at times. And that drug is called Opana. And it's a very scary drug. The price of that drug is about $100 a pill now on the streets. Like I said, it's a very powerful and dangerous drug, and that's another one that we have to start keeping an eye out because of the popularity that it could get. The drug problem, like I said, affects all of us. It doesn't matter if we're taxpayers, if we're family, friends, neighbors. It affects all of us. There's probably not a person here that doesn't know of someone close to them that the drugs and drug abuse and drug addiction has caused pain in their lives. Drug addiction and overdoses cause serious public health issues in our society. It's the biggest cause and contributing factor in crime today. Drug abuse and drug-related crimes bring on more arrests daily, adding to the overpopulation and overcrowding of our jails and our prisons. Drug trafficking, drug addiction, and crimes associated with drugs daily contribute to clogging up our court system. It creates additional workloads, adding stress and strain onto our understaffed and under-budgeted law enforcement agencies, our medical professions, and our facilities. Drug overdose deaths have been rising all across our nation and our state, as well as here in Madison County. In 2014, nearly 1,100 Kentucky residents died from overdoses. That's more than the yearly fatal toll across Kentucky in car accidents. Kentucky Office of Drug Control Policy reports that overdose deaths increased in 2013 to 1,010, and in 2014 to 1,087. Madison County has the highest overdose rate compared to the counties that surround us other than one, and that's Fayette County. And that's due to their population Madison County is right at 90,000. Then we come in with 12 overdoses in 2013, and in 2014 we double that, almost to 23 overdoses for the year in 2014. And 9 and 5 is 14 in my math, so we're already 14 in 2015. Fayette County had 112 overdoses reported in 2014. Clark County had 10 in 2014. Estill County had 8. Rockcastle and Garrett County had 5 apiece. A report, like I said, from the Drug Control Policy states that the biggest health risk today is abuse of prescription drugs and heroin. Prescription drugs and heroin. You know, there's many ways that the prescription drugs get out there. We've investigated a couple complaints this week, which this is August, that we'll be reporting on, is where the patient in the household, been taking care of the family, is actually using and selling the pain medication that's prescribed to the person that they're supposed to be taking care of. Drugs take over. There's a new drug that I'm sure some of you have heard. It's called naloxone, short name Narcan. And this Narcan is actually, it's an antidote that's being used across our nation by first responders. And anytime that our EMS people arrive at an overdose scene, they diagnose the problem, make sure what it is. This is the first drug that they turn to. Once it's administered to the overdose victim, within seconds, there is a reaction, a counter reaction that takes over. It counteracts the opium that's in that person's system. And like I say, when a person actually is overdosing, the person goes into a coma state. His breathing starts slowing down. And when that breathing starts slowing down, he just quits breathing. And that's when he dies. But fortunately, our EMS people, with this antidote, which is Narcan, for the last few years, our first responders, when they first arrive, that's what they first hit them with, inject them with it. And that starts bringing them back. Unfortunately, this antidote, the Narcan, has to be used sometimes numerous times to keep a person, revive them, and get them back alive. Very scary. It's very scary when you're the first responder and you've called for EMS, and EMS gets there and there's a person in the floor with the needle still injected and the band still wrapped around them, and they're blue and they're gray and they're charcoal, and you know that they're dead or dying. EMS shows up, boom, hits them with that, and with seconds, they're up and saying, what's happened? Unfortunately, some of these people have overdosed numerous times, and Narcan's brought them back around numerous times. I don't know how many more chances they get in life, but it works. The drugs, Narcan, like I say, has saved many lives of overdose victims, given them a second chance, and unfortunately, many of them didn't learn from the first time they overdose several times. I spoke with EMS Director Carlos Coyle when I was getting some of these facts and figures, and one thing about this Narcan, this antidote, it's been out for a while, and it's a very expensive drug, very expensive. When they first started, when the drug first come out, it cost about $8 a dose. Now, our EMS here in Madison County, they have to use it so much because of the overdoses that we have, that the price of it, they buy it in bulk because they have to stock it. And the price of it is anywhere from $38 to $50 a dose. So you go out and one person, they have to hit him 3 or 4 or 5 times with that. Like I said earlier, it affects us all. As taxpayers, that runs into the money. And you know, I want to commend and brag on their EMS here, because I've worked with them in my state police career as well as the sheriff's department. Have an excellent EMS, well-trained and great paramedics that work there. They know what they're doing. You know, we kind of take things for granted when we see that ambulance go by, but just think of the heart attack victims they've saved and the car accident victims, victims of a injury at home or at a work site. You know, they're the first responders that tend to that person before they get them to a medical facility, and they do excellent. And doing these figures, I started realizing 76 the first 3 months, 74 the second 3 months. Look at the lives they've saved just by overdose. You know, I want to commend them very highly for the job that they do each and every day. They do great work. I want to also bring attention to the court that we've been attending meetings as well as training on some new laws that have come into effect, and one of them that I want to bring to your attention to show you the drug problem, how it affects us all. We have a drug court here in Madison County that I think we're very blessed to have, that tries to get people recovery as well as back on the right path. And you know, I'm tickled to death with the drug court and what the judges do with that. But we've been attending meetings through the U.S. Attorney's Office in Lexington, and U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District is Kerry B. Harvey. And I want to say that Mr. Harvey was very helpful, very instrumental in helping us get the HIDTA Drug Task Force here in Madison County. They've been hosting meetings, and the meetings that we go to, they train us and show us about overdoses. And they want us, when we go out on an overdose, if the person is 10-7 or if the person is deceased, they want us to treat that as a crime scene, investigate as a crime scene, back up away from it, get the people in there, detectives in there, the resources we have to have, because this is a death. And the reason being that they want to treat it as a crime scene is because the new federal law now in effect has allowed the prosecution of drug dealers who are trafficking a substance that causes death. And they're not playing. The U.S. Attorney's Office, this federal law is not playing. Under the federal law, the criminals that are subject to be sentenced, the least they can get is 20 years in prison, and the maximum is life. The 20-year mandatory minimum sentence, it's not up for parole or probate. They have to serve at least 85% of their sentence. Now that's a pretty good lick. So we're doing it here in Madison County. We've got some cases that our drug task force is actually investigating that will be natured towards those cases. There's been 5, I think, already since this law's come out in the state of Kentucky that have been prosecuted, and they have all received 20 years or up to life. I want to speak to you real quickly about the Madison County Drug Task Force, which was started the first of the year. I gave you the figures the first 3 months of the success they've had. I'm very pleased. I'm excited. You know, the numbers speak for themselves on overdoses and deaths. We know that Madison County is a hub. You know, when it comes to Detroit and Atlanta and Chicago, and you're dealing with the cartels and you're dealing with the gangs, it's all about one thing, and that's money. Nobody cares about human life. It's all about money. But I'm very pleased. I want to discuss a few figures with you here. April, May, and June, I added all these together. Heroin, we've seized 159.1 grams. Oxycodone, 109.5 pills in pill form. methadone, 240 pills, diazepam, 30, alprazolam, 87. There are 6.6 3/4 pounds of marijuana has been seized in these 3 months, 101.4 grams of methamphetamine. 1 indoor marijuana grow has been seized. There's been 12 search warrants that have been executed. We've arrested 30 people in these last 3 months for drugs. We've opened 50 drug cases, and some of these cases are still clandestine, that they're still going on. There's people that will be arrested later on in the future. There was 11 guns that were either traced or seized. U.S. currency was confiscated, was $10,299. Like I say, our task force works very hard. As you know, we have Richmond City, Kentucky State Police, Madison County Sheriff's Office, and Berea Police. We have a DEA as ATF, and the DEA works with us as well. We've got off to a good start, but we need the community's help in reporting these. If it's factual and it's a good, let us know. Let us know. We have a new direct line now that's out there, and that'll be 859-623-1714. That's a tip line that will be used, and I encourage people in our county to get involved, report things. We don't know what's happening unless they report it. And I can tell you our figures for July are outstanding, and the way it's been taken off here in the month of August, we've recovered meth labs, or just our deputies alone. So there's a lot of good things coming up. Quickly, Madison County Sheriff's Department, like I said, we've been extremely busy with our normal duties. We had deputies that were assigned to the fair that started on July the 22nd and ran through August the 2nd, and I want the court to know that a lot of this time that where these deputies went out there and worked long hours, that it was volunteer time, volunteered to assist the county to make that successful, the fair. So I want to acknowledge those folks for going out there and working, and it was hot. I want the court to also know that I've been asked to serve on the 6th Congressional District Drug Abuse Task Force, and I'm very honored to be asked to serve on that. Congressman Andy Barr is the one that selected me for it, so I'm very honored. I actually was overwhelmed when he called and asked me to sit on that board, but as a member, I will be in the law enforcement portion of it. The Drug Abuse Task Force will be made up of members of law enforcement, education, prevention, treatment, and recovery. And our first meeting will be August the 26th at the University of Kentucky on their campus. So I'm very excited and very honored. Also, to let the court know that we filled a part-time position for court security that came available. This person is now in training. He's got 1 more week to go, and that gentleman was named Steve Laszlo. He's retired from Sherman-Williams. Going to make us a very excellent employee. We also filled the last deputy position that you all gave us on our new budget, and we think we hit a home run. We got a gentleman by the name of Paul Lay from Richmond Police Department, very experienced, a very good employee. In the last 4 days, he got 3 meth labs in 4 days, so that I like, and that's just being nosy. We filled our court security supervisor position when we lost Scott Shepard as our supervisor to the road department. We filled that position this month with Barry Heisel. He was promoted from court security, so we're very sad to see Scott leave, and lose him, but we're very tickled to have the caliber and the character of this man here, Barry Heisel. He will do us an excellent job. We're also sorry to tell the court that we lost one from retirement. Willard Reardon retired effective July the 1st, and we're holding that position till September the 1st, when we're going to name another hire on that position, and that person will be mainly doing our public affairs work, working with the public affairs personnel here in Madison County. So we're very tickled. In closing, I want to give you some figures, the stats, just to let you know how we were the last 3 months. Transporting of prisoners, we transported 734. Transporting of juveniles, 30. Eastern State Hospital transports were 11. Court processes served was 659. Now, these are going to people's homes, businesses, and serving these papers. And that's very hard, because a lot of times nobody wants to be served where it's a subpoena or whatever. They just don't want to be served. So we're lucky sometimes to get these folks. But we also served 243 eviction notices. We had DVOs and EPOs. We served 23. We served 222 warrants. We attempted to serve, where it's those papers that we were talking about, criminal or process papers. We attempted to serve 2,232. That's a lot of wear and tear and labor cost when you go out to try to serve these. We had 2,797 complaint calls. Domestic complaints, we had 37. Business checks was 1,002. Of course, due to a lot of the weather, we had 196 alarm calls. So these are residential as well as business, and that takes up a lot of man hours as well as wear and tear on our vehicles. Special details, we had 95, and one of those each day would have, of course, been the fair detail. Motorist assist, we had 176 for those 3 months, so we assist a lot of motorists when they need assistance. Vehicles inspected, of course, we get paid. That's one of our fees that we get. We did well for those 3 months as 1,449. DUI arrest, 32. That's 10 and a half a month. So a lot of those arrests are not alcohol now. Some of them are drug related when we make a DUI arrest. Criminal arrests, we had 290. Emergency medical detention arrests, we had 7. We issued 473 traffic citations through our office. We opened 167 cases, and funeral escorts, unfortunately, we had 68, and that's where we assist the funeral homes by working with the families in those times. And carrying concealed deadly weapon permits, that's again a fee that we do. We had 357. I'll be glad to entertain any questions that anybody has, but as you can see, our task force, we have a big job to do, as well as our office. And we're very pleased and honored to do it.
I don't have any questions, Sheriff, but we just want to commend, normally it comes up at the end of our magistrate comments, but we want to commend your deputies for the fine work that they're doing. And you didn't mention it in this, but they recently were able to rescue and save the life of a young child. Unfortunately, it didn't turn out well for the victim who took his own life, but your men done an excellent job in that. Mm-hmm. And, you know, part of me, when I hear your report, I'm scared to death. Maybe I'll slide out the back door, because it's getting to be a dangerous place around here.
But anywhere we go.
But listen, at the same time, that's the kind of things that our county needs. We have a problem. We know we have a problem. You're addressing it. It's fantastic. We certainly appreciate your men, and we ask you to just keep up the good work. The task force is doing great. All of those people need to be commended, and we thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Didn't you say that the Narcan was being used by people that are already on drugs or trying to get it?
No. Narcan is used
No,
by,
I know what it's used for, but I misunderstood. I thought they was trying to get it.
yeah, it's just used, right now it's being used by our paramedics. A lot of police departments, because of so many people, so many overdoses, a lot of police departments even they are training those folks up as well. But, you know, there's things that's gonna hit us in the future, and that is if we want to take, and start training our police officers here in Madison County. Another thing is the body cameras. But there again, all this costs money. And, you know, when you operate on a budget that we do, you know, we gotta make our mind up. But, thank you.
Sheriff, I was gonna comment on the same thing Tommy was, about saving that child's life. And I appreciate you informing the court to that, because you know how word scatters a lot of times. You know, they'll say, well, Sheriff's Department shot somebody. And, you know, we knew that to be untrue, and I appreciate you informing all the.
Absolutely. He called me, I was on vacation.
We'll
It has
keep
some
doing that.
The second thing is, I want to congratulate you on serving on this board. I know you represent Madison County law enforcement good. The third thing, there was a sheriff's department, I think they done this as a joke. On Facebook, they wanted dealers to turn in other dealers, and it started out as a joke, but lo and behold, they've already caught 3 or 4.
Franklin County.
Well, Madison County started doing it, might be just a little bit before a few of the others, but we've got it on our Facebook page, and like I said, we've been able to develop some leads and some information that we wouldn't known about. And, you know, that's what I encourage the public, you know, speak up, let us know. It's confidential, and by putting that on Facebook, we've had several that's led to investigating and bringing them to justice. But we don't know it unless somebody tells us. And there's a lot of them that, you know, it takes time. It's not like you see on TV where you just go out and knock on the door and go in and, you know, you've got 4 or 5 arrested. It takes time. It takes time. But this new law through the federal government, where they're going to prosecute people that cause the death of someone by trafficking, you're going to see a big change. There's a lot of things that we have to do to change the culture, the drug culture that goes on in our country. And, you know, Madison County is a big county. We hear a lot about it here. We've suffered a lot of pain here. But, you know, I think it was Floyd County. When you look at the overdoses for 2014, as small as that county were, they had actually more population than anybody else. So they're, you know, you take a small community, they can lose a lot of people. And we've got to get these drugs cleaned up. Thank you all.
I want to say one other thing. I appreciate the job you and your department does, but let's think hard and long about the drones.
About the drone?
Yeah. I don't think we're at the time for them yet.
Well, you know, that's another.
I know, I
ball
know.
game there.
That's joking,
Thank you
Mike.
all.
Thank
Sheriff,
you.
thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Appreciate it. At this time, I need a motion and a second to go into executive session. It's a personnel matter. And also, I'd like to invite our HR guy into our executive session.
So moved.
Second.
It was made by Larry, seconded by Roger.
Okay.
Guys, at this time, I need a motion and a second for the termination of James Parker in the road department.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Master Berger,
Yes.
Master Tudor,
Yes.
Master Bodkin.
Yes.
Master Combs.
Yes.
Judge Taylor.
Yes. Next on the agenda is the judge's report. Have several things. One of the things, employment opportunities, GIS specialists, that application period ends on August the 21st, 2015. And then the EMA director, we will be reposting for the EMA director, and maybe do a little broader search to try to get other applicants in. Bids, we have none at this time. The charitable contribution application, it went online on August the 3rd. please submit your application before September the 30th. So anybody that knows anybody that's in the charitable program or in charities, nonprofits in this community, encourage them to get online and fill out an application and send it in. At this time, I would like to recognize a couple of our interns that we've had this summer. This is their last week. I want to thank them for an outstanding job that they've done. It has truly helped us out in the administration office here. This time, I'd like to invite Claudia and Kurt to come up. Claudia Lanter is a EKU communications major, and Kurt Caldwell is a University of Kentucky student in the finance major. So I really appreciate y'all's service. I really appreciate y'all being here. It's been a lot of fun in our office. We've really utilized y'all well, and we appreciate what you've done for us. And so I'd just like to everybody give them a round of applause. Magistrate, y'all welcome to say something. Y'all are welcome to say anything.
Well, I hope your next stop to get a little bit bigger office and not the closet.
I'd like to commend both of them for a good job and helping out the court system this summer. And I hope this will be a little step toward their next mission in life or whatever. So good luck going forward.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Be sure to review our website for all department information, forms, employment opportunities at MadisonCountyKY.us. Also, we're still on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, if you will follow. Reminder of Whitehall Park closure. Right now it's through October 31st, but I'm keeping my finger crossed that I'll have a good announcement at our next court meeting. So things are moving along out there pretty well. Upcoming events, Pops in the Park, Saturday, August the 15th, which will be this Saturday. Gates open at 5:30, and music starts at 8 p.m. It's at the Whitehall State Historic Site at 500 Whitehall State Shrine Road. For more information and ticket sales, call the Richmond Chamber of Commerce at 623-1720. And also out at Baldwin Farms off Tates Creek Road, there's going to be a corn fest. Just follow the signs. It says, join us for food, fun, and entertainment. Be sure to bring chairs and blankets to sit on. Please RSVP for each person coming so they'll know how much corn to cook. And please do not bring your pets to this event. For more information, contact the chamber at 623-1720. So that'll be a fun event, it sounds like. Next is, I'd like to invite Chris up just to give us a little update on the IT department.
Try to make this quick. Since this is my first report to the court, I just wanted to do a little bit of statistical information first, just so you can kind of get a grasp of where we are. Currently, we have 4 staff members, a director, systems administrator, and a coordinator. And as the judge said, we currently have a position open as GIS specialist. Ends August 21st. Apply online, MadisonCountyKY.us/jobs. A little tidbit for the website there. We provide IT services to the county to approximately 400 users, working in 26 departments or agencies across 27 municipal buildings. Inside of that includes 29 physical servers, 30 virtual servers, 40 virtual desktops, over 80 terabytes of data storage with 3 terabytes of solid state storage. We manage the countywide enterprise email, the countywide voice over IP telephone system, and over 125 mobile data terminals that are located in EMS, fire, cops, those kinds of cars. We work daily to make sure that employees have technology that leverages the investment that the fiscal court makes every year in technology. We're investing to make a countywide infrastructure to kind of help everybody save a little bit of money. As most of you know, we're kind of unique. A few years ago, we started providing our services to other agencies and departments and charging them a fee. They save money. We get a little extra work to do, and hopefully the investment in the countywide technology extends to them to save them even more money. It's all taxpayer dollars. This year, we're on track to collect $100,000 in IT services and contract fees. Those people include Madison County 911, Berea Police and Fire, Madison County EMS, Madison County Utility District, Madison County Clerk's Office, the Madison County Property Evaluation Office, the Madison County Sheriff's Office, and the Madison County Detention Center is our newest customer, paying customer. So we keep ourselves busy with lots of people to take care of and lots of things, and it's a unique environment to be in because we get our hands in so many different things, and we learn a lot from each department. You can kind of share those things back and forth. as people move forward with technology, how they use it, those kinds of things. Just a few notable cost-saving projects that we have done. 2011, we implemented the countywide voice over IP system with the clerk's office being a lead agency with us. What it did is it brought in all these county agencies and the state agencies around this facility into the voice over IP system. What we did is ended up saving those agencies, state agencies or the departments, 50% a month on their landline service bills. So what we did is we paid for the service, and then we in turn bill them for our maintenance and the service that we pay for. That netted to the fiscal court a $30,000 a year savings in landline fees. What that equates to is basically we pay about $24,000 a year in service fees, and we collect almost $23,000 from the other agencies. So basically, where fiscal court was paying $4,000 a month in phone service fees, you're paying about $2,000 a year. So that turned out to be a great resource for us. We spent about $90,000 in equipment between fiber and connecting the buildings and telephone systems and headsets and those kinds of things. So we actually turned a three-year investment around on that money. So $90,000, we've already collected it, and now it's pure profit. We continue to operate that and upgrade the phones. I'll get into some of that a little later. In 2012, we made large advancements in extending the core network. When I first got here in 2006, every department had its own little network, its own little internet connection, its own little phone. Very, very costly. We had no ability to share information between departments. So we spent a lot of time doing that. One of the biggest cost savings that came out of that was every building had its own internet connection at $150, $250 a month. The perfect place, we call it the quad, is where Fire Station 2 and Safety City and those buildings are. They each had their own internet connection over $100 a month. I could throw a rock standing in fire department and hit each building. So what we did is put up a wireless infrastructure for a couple $100 a leg, put in one internet connection, we started saving all that money too. So those are the things that we're really looking to do, is figure out if we can use technology to save money. A lot of IT departments are black holes. I try to not be. I try to figure out how we can save that money with everybody else or bring partners in to pay for those things. We've been really successful so far, and I see a bright future ahead. In 2014, we worked with an independent consultant called Schooley Mitchell. They came from the Richmond Chamber of Commerce. They're a close partner to them. What they do is they come in and they audit your phone bills, your landline bills, your wireless bills, and your internet services. And you basically pay them 50% a month on the savings that they render for you. And in return, they monitor our bills and make sure AT&T's not giving us erroneous fees, which they do from time to time. They collect those fees back for us. What it ended up doing was saving us about $900 a month in wireless services. Prior to about 2 years ago, every department kind of got to choose what service they wanted, if it was Sprint or AT&T or T-Mobile or whoever. And all that does is drive the cost up. You don't have any buying power. So what they did is they came in and suggested to us that we move to AT&T. It was the cheapest price at the time. That kind of combined everybody in together. And we basically moved everybody off of unlimited data to metered data. We were paying $40 a month for phone for unlimited data, to come find out that you may only be using a gig of data. It's my experience that most people feel like they need the unlimited data. When you look at the actual factual information, they're not using anywhere near it. So that was where we saw the largest savings. The other thing is probably their biggest asset to us was that was right around the time we were trying to close out existing AT&T accounts. We were paying for lots of services that hadn't been used in years, lots of lines that were unneeded. So they kind of came in with this as CSEP brought on their new phone system and closed out what was called the county Centrex, which is how the county used to operate their phone system prior to 2011. It took about that long to get those accounts closed out with CSEP and everybody. What that ended up doing was bringing another $800 a month in savings. So Schooley Mitchell gets a check from the county monthly for anywhere from $700 to $800 a month based on the savings. That was a 3-year contract they signed. It should be up next year. Then all of those savings will be yours moving forward. And we can decide whether or not we want to be involved in that contract or not. So far, it's been a great thing. If there's any sort of mobile device issue, I call them, and they take care of ordering a phone or upgrading a plan or making sure that fees aren't being imposed to us that aren't supposed to be. Current happenings, which is probably what most people are interested in. The biggest thing we're working on right now is the spin map purchase order system with the finance office and getting that online. Glenn and I meet with them, if not twice, once a week, going over implementation and figuring out how to get all of our stuff into that. We look to have that completed sometime in September with department heads making use of that. It's going to be a huge cost saver, I think, and a huge time saver, having to fill out all the paperwork that we do now to process a request for payment. So that'll be exciting. It gives the judge the ability to approve those requests on the fly from his iPhone. He doesn't have to sit down and sign papers and scan them back and forth, which drives me crazy. I don't like paper, if you don't know that. One other thing, like the judge mentioned, we're working on consolidating our copier contract. Same thing. We didn't have any buying power with these copier contracts. They saw every department as their own contract, which gave us absolutely no cost savings. So what the judge and Judge and Colleen suggested we do is put out a contract for it, put out a bid. We got 4 bids back. Colleen and I reviewed them extensively. We're just not ready to make a suggestion. But already we know we will save in the per page click charge. The cheapest one we were paying is .012, I think it is, and the lowest price in the bid is .0065. So that's just shy over half a penny per page. So you're gonna save there. We do have to invest some money in new equipment. So those are the kind of decisions we're trying to make, getting everybody on the same contract, price savings, getting everybody the same equipment so we can have the same equipment in every department. We don't get any deviations of equipment. Makes it easier on us to manage. We spent a lot of time at the animal shelter in the last few weeks trying to get them into the right century. They spent a lot of time without computers and without telephones and some other issues. They just have old equipment. They've never been connected to the county network for anything. So now they're fully connected to the county's data center where all their files are served out of there. And they will be connected to the countywide voice over IP system within the next week or two. I just received the equipment, so we'll be configuring that stuff to get them attached. That'll bring in a cost saving as well because they won't have their own phone lines anymore. So that's where you'll be going to there, and we're working with them to hopefully bring their paper records into a digital format. Colleen spent quite a bit of time trying to get some, it was electronic, but just not in a very good form, trying to get all that data so we can analyze how many pets have been adopted and those kinds of things and make good decisions. That's what it's all about. We're slightly involved in the EOC renovations and remodel with the IT side of it, more on the 911 portion of it than really the EOC side, but we do spend quite a bit of time with Mission Critical and the EOC staff going over plans and those kinds of things, preparing to move ourselves into that building. We did do several upgrades of MDTs and the EMS units. We've upgraded terminals. We're getting ready to do it in the fire department as they move towards an accountability system where they can keep track of who's on a fire scene electronically through a tablet. We had money in the budget to buy them a new MDT. That MDT will be mounted in the front with a much smaller footprint than what they have now, which will take up less cabin space. They'll be able to actually undock that, take it to the back of Incident Command 1 and dock it in another dock and do all their accountability and run their fire scene from it. They're very excited about it. We're very excited because they are big users of our technology. So we want to make sure that they've got the best equipment they can. We just recently started a project with Madison County Utilities for online bill pay. You have been able to pay your credit card online, but it was never really attached to your customer account. So now, last year we helped them implement new software. Now they're ready for this piece. You'll actually be able as a customer to log into Madison County Utilities and see your history and all your usage and pay your bill, sign up for ACH debits, those kinds of things. So real progress on that front too. That'll also include Kirksville, but we don't have a contract with that just because Madison County Utilities and Kirksville is all really the same thing. We currently are testing Windows 10 in our environment. Most of our users are at Windows 7, but we're gonna try to make a push to move to Windows 10. We're testing that right now to make sure it all works in our environment. We did some large upgrades in the finance department software-wise. They had what was called microbooks, which had been around 15 years or so without any upgrades. They finally released a new edition. We worked with finance and their software company to get that all online. We have a big push in the budget this year, if you look through it, to standardize our technology across all the departments. We're going to try to use the computing power that's in the data center instead of putting it all at the desk. It's really kind of a reversal. It's kind of all cyclical, right? We used to have power in the back, and then we went to the desktop realm where everybody went to desktop. Now we're right back to, we don't have really anything at the desk. All the horsepower's in the back end. So we're pushing all our departments there. Hopefully we'll have that completed through most of this budget year to get everybody on a virtualized desktop. We made some upgrades to the voice over IP system to the latest software and versions. We've upgraded Madison County PVA to actual voice over IP phones instead of digital phones. They were still using the older phones attached to our new system, but they purchased new equipment. Gives them some more flexibility and better equipment. We did a major CAD upgrade across 911 and all the MDTs. We ended up having to touch every 150 of those by hand. We're currently, I'm almost done, I promise, eliminating Windows XP and Server 2003 editions of Windows from our environment. Windows XP became end of life in April of 2014, and Server 2003 became end of life July 14th of 2015. So what that means for us is most of our computers were off XP, but there are a few hanging around that, like in that closet, because the equipment's just so old, it has to have it to run. It won't run with new stuff. But we're eliminating those as we go. It's a security issue because they're no longer patched. We spend a lot of time working with the Judge Executive's Office and our interns, working to bring the Human Resources website up onto the county website to provide counties their employee benefits and those kinds of things online. We started doing the job applications online as well, and we most recently did the charitable giving program. So we encourage people to use those and check out the county website daily because it does change. People are in there. As you know, we do have the GIS division. Just a quick touch there. They're currently working to schedule training for pictometry users. If you're not aware, pictometry is a joint project between, I got to read the list here, Madison County Fiscal Court, PVA, City of Richmond, EKU, City of Berea College, and the Madison County School Board. What pictometry does is provide oblique imagery of the county. So they fly it, now we signed a 6-year contract with them. They'll fly every 2 years, and you get the 4-sided view of every building. That's handy for firefighters because they can see how many floors are in the building from the truck. It's handy for 911 because they can give out that information to the responding units about what they see on the map. So that was a great success, and we continue to work on that. We're working on rolling out internal map servers. Right now, our data is statically served to the users. If they make changes, we wait till they make a bunch, bundle them up, package it off, and we have to go touch everything to update it. When we get done with this, it'll all be dynamic. We'll be making those changes and hitting save, and that new data is now available to everybody. That'll also make the maps available to the public. Right now, there is some sort of form of a web map online. It's not real great, but it's there. At least they can use it. Those things will be upgraded for the citizens. Very busy in E911 addressing and floodplain management, as you all are aware. And probably the newest project is they're starting to work with the sign division of the road department over the reflectivity issues that the federal government is placing upon you, making sure that they have certain reflectivity and those kinds of things. GIS will have to work with the sign department to GPS each of those sign locations. You have to maintain a database of how, when that sign was replaced and when it's due to be replaced again. You're subject to testing with a special light and all kinds of things. So GIS and the road department will be working closely to get all of that under roof. The last point is GIS service contracts, much like IT has taken on here in the last couple of years, has brought in a $30,000 worth of contract signings this year with Kirksville Water Association, Southern Madison Water District, Madison County PVA, the county clerk, Northern Madison Sanitation, and Madison County 911. They do a whole host of things from basic mapping needs to fire hydrants to water lines to meters and all those things on maps. So we are very, very busy, and I will open it up to any questions you guys have about what we do or what we've been doing, what we're going to do, if you have any.
Well, that's a lot to digest at one time. But I've got one little simple question, and I know this can be remedied. And I've said this in the past, and I'm gonna say it again. Everybody in Madison County doesn't have a computer, so when we advertise for a job, the least we could do is publish it in the paper and maybe underneath say, for more information, go to this. I see nothing wrong with that.
That's what we do.
And they are posted in the paper, usually the Sunday before we put them online. So you'll see that, and it does point them to the website if they need more information, but they always can call and get an application or whatever they need to as well.
That's good. That's
I don't know how many paper applications we're still getting, but, you know, that last
We
job
still
was
get some.
14 or 15 online. Do you know what it was?
And we do make those postings on Facebook, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the people that aren't on a computer a lot, they still get on Facebook, you know, especially on their phone and things like that, so.
And we post all that, we probably should post some of that information on TV too. And maybe with the new system, it'll be a little easier for us to manage. Word of mouth is probably your biggest thing. Somebody sees it on Facebook and goes out and says, hey, you just see the county's hiring for whatever. That's probably your biggest bang for your buck. So maybe we look at putting that on the TV as well.
good. That's all.
I was gonna ask you to come closer to the mic, but I didn't wanna embarrass you.
Boo.
Hey,
Did a good job.
we're gonna remedy that too, aren't we?
There you go. Yeah, I'm gonna get myself on my own lapel mic.
I want to thank you too, Chris, just for being accessible when we have our own problems with our own devices and phones and communications and documents that look like Chinese and all kinds of things. So just, we
Right.
appreciate that as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Thanks,
buddy.
Chris.
Appreciate it. Next, comments from magistrates. Tom?
Well, I just want to start out and just kind of follow up with just a little bit of what the sheriff was touching on earlier, and just to simply tell our residents that one of the best deterrents in your neighborhood is you and your neighbor. Look out for each other. I mean, I know people are transit, we move in, we move out, and jobs take you here and jobs take you there and all part of it. Walk outside and go over next door and shake your neighbor's hand. and learn who the vehicles are in your neighborhood. And if one's coming up through that doesn't look like it belongs there, or it's there in the middle of the night, odds are good it doesn't belong there. That's what the sheriff's department's for. You can call those folks, and they'll be glad to come out and check things out for you. You see things out of place all the time. Just let them know about it. Look out for each other. The big issue, I guess, for me, still blacktop in the 4th District. I'm not going to promise blacktop to anybody anymore. And the reason for that is because I'll get a call, we'll get something set up, we're going out to blacktop, it rains, or we don't get the grade we need, or something of higher priority like John's bridges fall in, or other things that just get in the way. So listen, call me with all of your needs. I'm here to serve you. That number is 200-9765. I want to hear from you. I want to hear feedback, not just positive. I can tell myself I'm doing a good job, but if things aren't going the way that you think they ought to be, we need to hear that, the good and the bad. And so we need the feedback from you. But we certainly appreciate the road department. I certainly appreciate the fire department. Those guys have been doing a good job. They've been doing a lot of training here lately. And all of that's just keep up the good work. We're surrounded by good people, and we're thankful for every single one of you.
Thank you, Tom. Like Tom said, District 3's been tried and tested this last 6 months. We've had a lot of flood damage. We've had bridges out. I had 4 major bridges out in District 3. Hope to say sometime this week we'll have 3 of them back up. I was down yesterday looking at the Oakley Wells Bridge, and it's pretty much finished. Just take some concrete forms off it and put some dense grade on the approach on it, and it looks good. The Sam Jones Bridge, we're still waiting on some hydraulical engineers to do a survey on that, and before we can bid that out. Sometimes it feels like we're forever getting these projects done, but we've got so many government agencies looking over it. It's just hard to get things moved in a swift fashion sometimes, so be patient with us. I guess we mentioned there in court the Bill Eads project down on Bill Eads Road, reshore the creek side up and make that a little safer for the traffic and the buses to go by. Hopefully we've got something approved here, and we'll get in on that this week or no later than next. We'll advise you that there will be times that road will have to be shut down for a couple of hours, so just be patient with us. And Tom and I have got some new signs on our vehicles. If you see us out in the district, holler at us, call us if we can help you in any way. That's what we're out there for. We're trying to serve the public. We're out almost every day, or at least every week, driving the districts and looking for situations we can help the public. So thank you all so much. Thank all the departments. Sheriff Cole, we appreciate all that you do and for keeping us notified, and the EMS guys and all that they do. Thanks so much.
Raj?
I'm going to just make some comments on the meeting that we had today. It's been a good meeting, covered a lot of ground, a lot of different issues. I just want the people to try to understand what this county court deals with on a monthly basis. We've touched on things that's going to save us money. Sometimes you got to vote to pay out money that you're not going to get back. I mean, it's just part of it. We've had to hire a few, and we've had to let a few go. I mean, that's just part of the call that you got to make by taking the job. But overall, I thought this meeting showed a lot of that. I mean, and this is a good meeting. We're being informed more right now than I've ever been since I've been on this court. And I want to thank the judge and the deputy judge for being behind that. We are informed of what's going on, just like they're talking about the sheriff. He gave us a call to let us know about the shooting. I appreciate that, because sometimes I've had to tell this court, you know, I walk down the street and find out something that everybody else already knew, and that's not the way it should be. But I appreciate everybody on this court. I think we're doing a fine job for the county, and I hope the people in Madison County does. That's all I got.
Thanks, Raj. Larry?
Judge, I got this paper this morning out of my box. That's total dollars, $875,000 that we're going to spend on blacktop. Well, where I went to school, when you divide that by 4, I'm about 85,000 short. So I don't like that. My district's
Can I comment on that?
everybody else.
No, I'll let you in just a minute, but I'm going to give him feedback first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I see the paper? So, and I want to go on record that every decision I make, I try to be as fair as I can be with each and every one of you.
expect that.
Okay? So, and I'm gonna give miles of roads per district. Okay? So District 3 has 159 miles of roads. District 4 has 126 miles of roads. And District 2 has 114 miles of roads, and District 1 has 72 miles of roads. And so the fairest way that I felt like to do it for each one of the magistrates is to, you basically get a percentage of the road miles that you have in your district, and you divide that by the 875,000 that we have for total asphalt funds. Because it's not fair to John for him to be servicing 159 miles of roads, you know, and in your situations, you servicing 72 miles of road, and we divide that 875 by 4, because he has a lot more roads in his district than what you do. And I just feel like that's the fairest way for us to do it.
Well, I agree with you there. I have no problem with that. But we're representing people. All the districts are very, very close on number of people. Those people, some of those people that say live in the city, they travel those roads. I mean, I can understand you saying based on mileage, I understand that. But there's 8,000, 9,000 people there in Berea that travel those roads too.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta give a little consideration, don't you?
Yeah, I mean,
Larry, kind of the way we looked at it, it costs the same amount to blacktop a mile in my district it does yours.
Sure.
So if we split the pile 4 different ways, you're getting almost twice as much for your buck as I'm getting for my 100.
and I mean, that could be, you know, you always comment on every one of your roads are blacktop.
They are. They
So, I mean-
are, but there's some needs a little more on.
Yeah.
That's just my feeling, but I mean, I don't think that's fair if you wanna base it on miles. Yes, I guess it is. But if you base it on population, then when is our next survey? What, every 10 years, correct? And we're all basically about the same.
And I want to make, too, I mean, there might be years that you definitely have to have something, and some of your roads are worse than what John's are, or Tom's are, or Roger's are, and you might get a little bit more, but the same goes with them, you know, and this is a starting point to me.
I
You know,
think
they would never, ever, I mean, 159 miles is what John has versus 72. I mean, he would never get to fix the damage and stuff on his roads. I mean,
I think we all understand, Larry, if a situation in one district is a little more detrimental, that we'll go ahead and fix that rather than, we can share the funds throughout the district, but this is just something to shoot at.
I mean, it's the same
I've
thing.
always, in the past, give up a little extra money to other districts. I've always done that, but this 85,000 is a lot of money. And, you know.
I mean, if that's the case, then, I mean, when we bush hog the sides of the roads, then we should break it up by hours, you know, and all your road sides would look like a golf course. I mean, if we divide it up like that, you know, we'd be able to mow yours weekly when you do the hours, or every 2 weeks,
Well,
where the other counties.
That wouldn't be a problem. I know that's not gonna happen.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, I just try to look at things in a fair way for all of you,
Well,
you know.
if you look at it from the standpoint that you're looking at it, I guess that is fair. But when I look at it from the standpoint I represent, those 10,000 or whatever, that's about the norm, right? About 10,000 around or something like that. It's not fair. I just have to say that because I represent the first district. That's all. I'm not gonna make no big deal about it. But that's just my observation.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you saying what you did, based on the mileage. You know, the cities, they annex a lot of times. Myself and Tom's got one there that part of one of mine's in the city, and it's always been in the county, and he's got the one that joins it. And it does need work, but mine don't.
Which that doesn't include any city streets or anything.
Oh, I know,
Yeah.
because I could add a lot more in there than that, but I mean,
Yeah.
as long as they take care of them, I guess I can just tell the people, well, the city takes care of your roads.
If it's in the city does take care of it.
Yeah.
You're not wanting money to take care of city roads there.
Well, sometimes we have to help them, like going to a dump or something
The
like
only thing I
that.
can say about the way that, and I think this is a good idea, I mean, there might be other ideas that's better, I don't know. But we don't have $875,000 to divide between all the people. We got $875,000 to fix the roads
In Madison
that
County.
the people drives on. And there's a lot of people out of Richmond that drives in Brea, and there's a lot of people in Brea that drives in Richmond, so you're furnishing money for all of them, you know.
I agree.
It's something we gotta work together on, Larry. I mean, if something needs to be done in your
When I
district,
need something, I know where to go get the money. I've never had no problem in 35 years if I need a little extra money to go down Frankfurt and get it. So I don't have no problem.
Another thing that I saw that a dollar figure, whatever the dollar figure did, it helps us as being, for programming purposes and planning purposes, when we're going down there and the phone's ringing, I'm calling, road superintendent every single week, I need you to go blacktop here, 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 and here, and here. I could ask him to go blacktop 100 things, but if I've only got the money to do 10 things, and I know what that dollar figure is, you know when to stop. And you have to plan them. You drive the roads. We all drive the roads. Every single one of us have driven the roads, and we know what our priority is, and we have to put a priority system on that. I get calls all the times, and I'm getting more and more in the subdivisions about needing their road repairs. And I go out and look at every single one of them, and you do, and I'll agree with you, you do need road repairs, but you don't need the whole road always blacktopped. And a lot of times, we can do a section over there, and there's plenty of roads that are worse than many of the ones that I get a call on.
That those people never drives on, they don't realize how bad
It's
some
not
of the
popular.
other roads
I can
are.
tell you now, it's not a popular decision. On the roads that we've picked this year, to some people, it's not gonna be popular to them because it's not in front of their house. But some of these roads and the subdivision that I live in's not been blacktop in 17 years. It's never been blacktop since it's put in, 17 years. As a matter of fact, for that, it's only got the base coat on it, even worse. But don't matter. County has that, we maintain that. But if your roads need repair, we'll come and look at them. If it's something that's emergency or something we have to do, we'll blacktop them. We'll try to fix that up. But just because you got a pothole don't mean you're gonna get your whole subdivision blacktop.
I've always thought in the past, it's a lot easier to ask forgiveness than approval.
Well, there we go. We forgive you.
And when you get that money from Frankfurt, let me know how much it is.
It'll be earmarked.
Anything else, Larry?
No, I'm
Good.
just glad to be here, Judge.
Glad you're here, buddy. Comments from audience? Anybody in the audience? All right,
Appreciate you staying here.
yep. Need a motion and a second to pay the claims and approve the transfers.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Bodkin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next meeting is Tuesday, August the 25th, 2015, here in Richmond. Again, that's Tuesday, August 25th, here in Richmond. Need a motion and a second to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.